this is Chris and welcome back to my Project Management Sandbox. Here we talk about managing projects, career in tech and professional development. Today I would like to give a try for new series or episodes. The topic for them is like project management epic fails. Within those series I'm planning to share fails in leading projects that I have been experiencing before, and what is not less important, the lessons learned out of those situations. As I have been quoting in one of my episodes, a professional is someone who has managed to make all the possible mistakes in the very narrow field, and I am a professional in leading tech projects, so here we are. So hopefully that's going to be useful and helpful in your professional journey. Let me know in comments what you think about this new format and if this is the type of the content that you feel is helpful and you are interested in. Meanwhile, let's get started. To begin with, I would also like to share why I have decided to create this type of video. I see a lot of episodes on YouTube and on other resources about top 10 project management mistakes or top XYZ errors that newbies do, or project management failures in general, but I have not seen a lot of the videos on the real life examples, and the real life experience is something that configures us as professionals. I bet you heard this question on interviews tell me about the biggest failure in your background. This is asked for a reason. If you do not have any failures behind, is your experience actually real? I do not know any project manager who do not have any failures behind. Failures are actually good. This is good if you are able to learn the lessons from this specific experience and to apply them moving forward, not to repeat the same mistake again. Just a little disclaimer, I'm not going to share any names of the projects that I have been leading or people that I have been working with, just not to disclose anything sensitive. This is gonna be based on a behavioral approach, so what I'm going to share is the context of the situation, what has happened and what was the result, and what not less important, the lessons that I have learned after the result was achieved. Hey there, I'm interrupting this episode for a quick request. Firstly, give this video a like. That would give me an understanding that you are enjoying the content that I'm creating for you. And secondly, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and to tick the notification bell to not lose any of the upcoming episodes. And by the way, those actions will help YouTube understand that you're enjoying my content and other people might be interested in it too. So let's do this. Thanks a lot, and let's continue. For this episode, I have chosen a project that I have been leading, I guess, maybe 5 years ago or so. The idea was to replicate the existing application on another version of it and to extend it with additional features that could be helpful for the product. What I needed to do as a project manager is to firstly explore the existing application, identify what features are currently present that we are going to replicate in the new version of it, and come up with a specification, technical description of the work that should be performed, so that afterwards, together with the technical team and technical lead, we would be able to estimate the work and to understand what's going to be the effort on delivering the outcome. Also, just to let you know, there was a specific constraint, so that's going to be a fixed price project because the client has communicated hey guys, I just have only that amount of money. So let's find out on how are we going to fit within the given budget, and just let me know what's possible to be done and what's going to be the timeline for this. To move forward, this is what I have decided to start with. I started to explore the existing application. Also, I have managed to interview the team that has been working on it before. That was super helpful, and based on this information, based on my personal understanding of the product and the business goal, I started to come up with the description for the product specification. So I needed to describe what's currently in there and what's going to be the future state of it, considering all the changes that potentially could be applied in. By that moment, I have already been able to draw wireframes that was super helpful, and eventually I came up with I do not remember exactly, but I bet there was not less than 40 pages of the technical specification for the future product. That was pretty extensive and pretty heavy work that I have executed. That was confirmed with the client and we started to estimate the work. Done. So the estimates were put together, we have verified it together with the technical lead. I drew the timeline and we decided to present the solution for the client. Again, kind of a note here, as you remember, there was a constraint in the budget. So firstly, once we estimated the work, we just separated the extra features that were not fitting the original budget that we have been communicated about. And the timeline was built based on like must-haves within the product in order to make it viable and in order to like achieve the goal that we had in front of us, replicate the app, fit the budget. The solution was communicated to the client, he was super excited and he agreed to get started on the work. After this has happened, I just decided to like drop the final glance of what we have proposed to the client. And what we have found out is that the core feature that the whole app was standing on for some reason disappeared from the estimates. Because we remember that we have been going through it, we have been discussing it, and initially it was in our list, it is in the specification, but in the offer it was not there. And just for the second, this core feature was kind of about the quarter of the overall budget. So if we are adding it, we are not gonna meet the limits that the client has communicated before. So what was the result of this exercise? Eventually, when we have found out that we are not going to fit the budget and we are not able to deliver the product without this core functionality, that was escalated and the company management has decided to cover this on the company expense, meaning that they didn't want to lose the client and they decided not to communicate this issue to the client as well. When we have been doing kind of a retro and discussing what has happened and why this has happened, unfortunately no one can recall when and how this line has disappeared from the estimates. So basically that was an epic fail, and for me as for the project manager that was super disappointing, as I'm the one who's like verifying all the information. Although I was reviewing the information, the tech lead was reviewing the information, for some reason we have managed to make this mistake. So what are the lessons learned from this specific situation? First thing, let's start from the very beginning when I have been explaining like the steps that I have been taking in order to achieve the goal of the task, and I have been working on building the project specification. So from this specific point, I really see that there was a gap and missed opportunities because we were not like accounting for the actual market research, and that was not requested from any of the resources. The source of information was the previous application and the requirements that were communicated by the client. However, there might be some specific piece of work to be done that is related to the market research, because that could help to build a more competitive product. Just to protect myself, I can say that, hey guys, I was a project manager and this type of work is more about business analysis and product management work. However, I could be a little bit more proactive and resourceful. Number 2 in my list in the lessons learned for this specific situation is to more account on a teamwork. As I was saying, I have been creating the technical specification myself. However, another opportunity that I could have used at this point is to engage more people and more subject matter experts in order to build the technical documentation in a better and more efficient way, and in order to identify the ways how the functionality could be described and could be released, considering all the opinions within the team. Number 3 in my list, I guess the most obvious one, and this is attention to details. In this specific case, this is related to budget. And budget is one of the key performance indicators on the project. As you remember, there is a triangle project is standing on, and these are the scope, the budget, and the timeline. The key thing that we need to know is how much it's gonna cost, when it's gonna be delivered, and what actually we are going to deliver within the project. So from this perspective, I needed to pay super special attention to the project budget, specifically keeping in mind that we had a constraint in this. So attention to detail means that having this information in hand, I needed to triple check all the key points that are related to this specific KPI. And the final one in my list for today, in terms of the lessons learned, and I really feel this is something that I was probably missing at this point, as negotiation skills. I needed to be more proactive and to offer the opportunity to start the negotiation process. Although this is business, we understand there were requirements, we understand the constraints were communicated. However, all the business is done by people. This means that there is always a chance that a mistake could be made. And starting talking about it, starting communicating it, starting to provide some sort of the solutions in this specific situation could have helped us to come to the common ground with the client and to identify how could we cover this specific missing line from the estimates and to still keep the project work productive. And as I'm always saying, communication in projects are paramount. And not only this, communication is one of the key project management skills that you need to advance on a daily basis. So that is something that I needed to double down on moving forward. I hope that was helpful from the perspective of how to analyze the situation and how to extract the lessons learned from the project results. Hopefully you're doing this exercise on a regular basis, not only when that fails happening, but even if the result is successful, because there is no limit for perfection. Let me know in comments if you would like me to continue sharing my background and real-life experience and to share the analysis of the outcomes, and also if you have identified any additional lessons learned from the specific situations. Let me know in comments about this as well. I would love to read about it. Thanks for watching and see you in the next episode.